This is Rick with Cybersecurity and IT Professional Podcast, where industry leaders share their insights. It's 5 questions today in 9 minutes because hackers never sleep. Let's get to it. I have Mark Longworth with me. So question number 1, who are you and what do you do?
Hey, good afternoon, Rick. Mark Longworth. I'm cyber sales support for Blue Vector. Came out of the industry in the national security sector for the last close to 30 years. Kind of biggest claim to fame was I was the guy who created the NetWitness product and brought that to market, and enjoyed the success that that's had in both standalone and RSA. So now I'm trying to help Blue Vector pull off the same success. So
splendid. That's a great award to show. You should get like a Grammy for that or something. But question number 2. What's the best thing about being a cyber professional?
Yeah, so I actually got into this industry supporting CIO level teams at national security organizations within the U.S. government, and the draw was really just solving technical problems. But we quickly found that the number one pacer of those technical problems was the security element, and so I kind of backed into becoming a cyber professional in the attempt to bring technology solutions to persistent problems at the enterprises organizations. And so, every time we found a technical solution to it, we had to immediately switch into, now how do we do this securely? And so over the last 20 years, I've shepherded dozens of technologies into production by getting them to implement the technology, or the making themselves secure and making their operations secure. So with that, expanded out onto offense, and then back into defense, and now I'm back on the network defense side. So
question number 3, I hear from other industry leaders that cybersecurity is a top concern. What does that even mean?
Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. I think when I hear that, I just hear catch up, right? I mean, it's I started out in government. We had this. We knew this problem existed in the as soon as modern internet technologies came out. So I was working on this problem in the mid 90s and tackling it full force in the early or late 90s from an offense standpoint, and then moved into law enforcement in the early 2000s, and then finally to banking in the last 10 years. And the stuff I was talking to banking about 10 years ago was the same stuff I was talking to the government about 20 years ago. I did a failed attempt to jump into the healthcare market about 3 years ago. And the stuff I was talking to CIOs or CISOs at health hospitals were the same exact thing I was talking to financial about 10 years ago, and the same thing government 20. And so I'm glad they're catching up, but it's sad that it's taken decades, right? So
I'm going to pivot really quick and side question on that. Why do you think various industries don't catch up as quickly as others?
I mean, some of it's threat. I mean, some of it's the adversaries we were dealing with 20 years ago in the government just didn't exist commercially, right? There was no criminal element to cyber. Well, there certainly is now, and that criminal element went after the big guys first, and so I think that's why the financial market got smart quick. And unfortunately, with ransomware, it's proliferated everybody. And so where a lot of folks didn't have to worry about this stuff, could stay under the radar because the threat hadn't got to them yet. It has now. So they've got no choice.
That's a great response. Question number 4. What piece of insight do you want to share with other cyber experts?
Yeah, I think like I said, the thing that brought me into this industry was really just trying to solve problems with technology, and by default we had to do that securely. And so I read someplace many years ago that the best cyber professionals are the best network administrators, or the best system administrators. And so I think it really boils down to solid system management, solid configuration management, solid enterprise management. If we've got deployed, if where it is, if how it's being worked, you're probably 90% the way of being secure. And I think it's a bit of a disjustice that cybersecurity has become its own discipline. because really is, I mean, it really is just IT. If you're doing IT well, you're doing it securely. And I kind of look forward to the day that we wrap this back into it, and it just becomes, a computer science discipline or an IT discipline, and not something that we label separately, right?
I actually spoke with someone today who focuses on cybersecurity, and they didn't realize that they should have on the same call their threat hunters, as well as their network admins, as well as their sysadmins. Why do you think it's separated?
I mean, it on some degree, it's the sizzle factor, right? I mean, someone put a label to it, right? They put the cybersecurity label to it, and suddenly became something that they could get money for. And once you get money for it, you have to, you create a new organization to spend that money. And also, it was the migration of the first generation cybersecurity folks were all hackers, right? They were all the call them gray hats or whatever. They were legally ambiguous about what they were doing. And when they became legit, back to the Loft Industries becoming at stake, I think they were a different crowd of people than the regular system administrators and regular system operators. And that, there was a cool factor to them. There was money behind them, and that just proliferated a separate organization. So
that's a great insight. So, fifth and final question: what's your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
Yeah, I always joke when when the iPhone came out, and all of my friends' spouses started getting smartphones, that they were driving us nuts at dinner because they were constantly looking at their phone after listening to them for 10 years bitch at me and my friends looking at our smartphones, back in the Trio 180s and Trio 300 days. And so I've been playing with mobile technology since mobile technology became a thing. And I think back to Web OS, and there's still things in Android that I wish that were in Web OS that I wish Android would adopt. So I'd say it's the Trio line of technologies, and the ultimate Web OS technology, which unfortunately is no longer with us. So
that's great. So you did it. 5 questions in 9 minutes, because the best know when to be concise. Mark, what's your website?
It's bluevector.io. So.
All right, Mark, you have about a minute left. Is there anything else you want to share with our community?
Yeah, I guess I could talk about the importance of brevity. So I'll cede my sub-minute back to the people's time. So
sounds good. Gotta love the sense of humor there. Mark, it was epic having you on. Make sure you check out more episodes and insights from the Cybersecurity and IT Professional podcast. My name is Rick Mishka. Stay awesome, my friends.